This is the Medical Marijuana Radio Network.
The following presentation is controversial and may be offensive to some audiences.
Parents, you're certainly going to want to listen to this one. More teenagers are smoking marijuana. That is according to a survey of 47,000 students conducted by researchers at the University of Michigan. Now, according to the study, 1 out of every 15 high school seniors admit to smoking pot on a daily basis. Now, that is the highest rate since 1981. Researchers say drug use goes down when teens perceive a particular drug as being dangerous. Apparently, marijuana does not have the same fear factor as it did years ago.
A renewed push tonight in Lansing to link welfare benefits to clean drug tests. A Republican representative from Utica is pitching it. Under the bill, drug tests would be used to determine eligibility for the state's Family Independence Program. Representative Jeff Farmington says people applying for jobs in the private sector have to take drug tests, and he believes people in public assistance should face the same scrutiny.
Countdown to launch. It's the Medical Marijuana
Launch commit.
Radio Show.
Guidance is internal. Ignition sequence start. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Liftoff. We have a liftoff. Power cleared.
We got a roll program. The Medical Marijuana Radio Show is a production of the Medical Marijuana Radio Network.
You tuned in to that Medical Marijuana Show. 855 Triple M Radio. Keep it legal, keep it legal, keep it legal, keep it legal. Hey. You tuned in to that Medical Marijuana Show.
Folks, it's the weekday show, so Denise ain't here. I've got with me a co-host. He's my carded patient, Justin. And folks, let me assure you, yes, we are live in Detroit.
Okay, Steve is the host with the co-host, Denise. Starting at noon Saturdays every week. Yes, we keepin' you legal. Legislators and lawyers, doctors and the growers. The show is for the people. Michigan Medical Marijuana, no hassle. We talk about anything, any issue we can handle. Call us up and let us know what is on your mind. And make sure when you do it legal every time. Hey. You tuned in to that Medical Marijuana Show.
Welcome to another Medical Marijuana Radio Show. It's just after 9 o'clock. It is, what is it, Wednesday already? Good God. I should be watching the X Factor show right now. That's what I should be doing. Have you been watching the X Factor, Justin?
No, it's not really my taste.
The X Factor's not your thing, huh?
No, not really.
You know, I love the X Factor because, I'm a big fan. You know, I'm I guess it's why I'm an activist. I guess it's why I host a show. If you're in the medical community, in a way, I guess I'm in my shoes, but a lot of people are in my shoes. So that makes me in your shoes in some way. So I've got some empathy for the people in the medical marijuana community, and that's why I think I like the X Factor show, because I can empathize with I feel the spirit. I don't know, maybe other people do too, but for some reason when you get a little kid or an older person or anybody that's up there singing and they do a good job of it, I don't know, I can feel it. I'm just charged by that electricity. I'm the same way with Mother Nature. I'm very empathetic to nature. If I go outside, boy, I love to just get naked and tip my head back and stand there in an open thunderstorm and just let it rain. I don't know. I'm just saying. Justin started getting all cheeky on me because I said get naked. Justin's got naked issues. If you're naked, he goes, "Oh, no, stay away! There's naked people over there." Go. Oh my. Hippie in some of it. I'm not a hippie. I'm past the yuppie. I'm Generation X for sure. But I feel, I get charged by the electricity of nature. Love a good storm. When a storm's rolling, I can feel the power, the unbridled power of nature is just awesome to me. You've got a big electrical storm and the wind's blowing. You just see the power that Mother Nature has wrangled and is bearing against you. I think it's just awesome. So the same thing goes with the X Factor show. I can feel that power of the audience. I love that show. It's watching the people get their just desserts for, doing an amazing thing. First off, these people have tremendous balls to get on that stage. and sing in front of. Look, the thing that makes this different from that whole, and this is the Medical Marijuana Radio Show. We're talking about the X Factor. Good Lord. But it's, it relates. It does. Because, it takes balls of steel to, to kind of come out of the closet in the marijuana field too. It doesn't matter if you're a medical guy or a recreational guy. If you're a consumer of cannabis in this country, it takes balls of steel to be out here and stand on a stage and, duck the fire lobbed your way. Because there's a lot of, you can compare this to the castle days. With the guys, in the Trojan horses and trying to lob stuff over the castle walls. There's flaming, grease coming up over the wall. Hey, is that the mailman? Ah! Flaming grease. And then you're burning and sliding down the wall. It's not you fall in the moat, the alligators eat you. It's not pretty. This is what's going on. I'm being, rhetorical. I'm using theatrics. I'm making a spectacle to make a point. This is what's going. The no-knock raid is a little more barbaric, I'd say, than the guys lobbing flaming fuel at you. The guys, lighting balls on fire and putting them in a catapult and lobbing them at the castle walls. I'd rather have that than a no-knock raid. At least I got a chance of fending off the barbarians. And they still have the Trojan horse. It's just in the form of something else. I don't know. So, welcome to the program. If you want to call the show, because this is the part of the show where we say what's going on. We introduce things during this segment. So, welcome to the show. If you're just learning who we are, and I don't know how you got to us, we're banned on the YouTube now, Justin. Did you hear about this?
Yeah.
Who told you?
You.
Oh, okay, I thought so. We're banned on the YouTube now because we're not really banned. They just won't let us upload our shows anymore because our shows are longer than 15 minutes. And you'll hear when we come back from the commercial, there's a little music that plays. In this instance, it's Christmassy type music. But I pay for that music. And then I've got a contract. I have to pay for play for that stuff. I got to report that and pay for it. I've got licensing. And then, sometimes I will use a little clip of the beginning of a song, less than 30 seconds. It's considered fair use in the copyright world. But when YouTube scrubs the videos, they found, for some reason, Warner Music Group found a little clip that they didn't like, that they thought, oh, that's our content. You can't have that content. That's our content. And then I disputed it, and then there was a little volley back and forth, and pretty soon, you can't upload it. It rejected my video upload because it was longer than 15 minutes. And I'm like, wait a minute. So I deleted the video. It says, no, you got to strike. So I can't do it. No, I'm waiting for, I've got to sue them or something. I don't know. But so we can't, if anything past the 10th, I put up a little YouTube video today explaining that we can't do it now. We're waiting for, some clearance. When we get some clearance, we'll put up all the past shows back on YouTube. In the meanwhile, you can find us on iTunes, under Radio Weed Show, or under Medical Marijuana Radio Show. You'll have to click See All Podcasts, and then you'll see the orange logo of the microphone. That's us. We're one of only a few regular daily shows that posts daily on iTunes. The only ones that are left to do this on a daily basis, it looks like Bobby's calling in. Hang on a second. The only ones that do this on a daily basis are going to be the John Doe Radio Show, and then also the show in California. No, it's not. The LA show is called Normal Live. The Normal Live show posts daily shows as well. Those are the only daily ones I know of besides this one.
Am I on the air?
We are on the air, Robert. This is Robert Steckroth, our web developer guy. Bobby calling me because I said something about money. Cuando escuche, Bobby?
I'm just kind of, I'm wondering what happens if I just show up at your house right now.
Well, are you outside? Are you going to come through the door? Have you got the no-knock raid video on your back? Are you strapping, guns and you're wearing the mask and you got the thing on your back that says ATF? No? Nothing?
Hide the cat, Steve. Hide the cat.
No. Are you coming over?
I might. I don't know.
I got money for you. I'm not saying how much, but I got money. It's more than yesterday. Come and get it.
Wow. And a shout out to anybody else listening.
What? Shout out to all we got was shout out and then picket fencing. All right, Bobby just slipped off. Hello, Bob.
No. I'm here.
All right. So, cuando escuche? Are you coming or what's going on?
Yeah, Gucci, I'll be there.
All right. So, maybe we'll catch you while you're still on the air. We'll be on until 10 o'clock.
All right, man. Cool.
All right. We'll see Bobby in a few minutes. All right. So, back to the rest of the show. That's Bobby, our web developer. Bob's responsible for putting up all the forms and stuff, and everything on the website is Robert's hand. So I hope that we don't end up with a problem we did yesterday. Let me just check the OTS turntables and make sure that they're still functioning properly. They do seem to be in working order, which is a good thing. We started this show, just for you guys who are listening live, this is the second go-round for this show. The first time we did the show, in the middle of talking to a guest on the phone, that blue screen of death. That was not fun. So I don't know how that happened. I really don't. And so now here's what we got going on. We'll be talking today about nominating people for the new Buddy Awards. That's a Medical Marijuana Achievement Award. There's an award ceremony happening in Michigan, in Ann Arbor, at the Clarion Hotel and Conference Center. It's on January 29th at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. It's part of the Vote Green Initiative program, or there's a big expo, big Medical Marijuana Expo. I wonder what they're calling it. I forgot what they're calling it. I got to put it in the calendar yet. I saw it earlier today. Do I have it up on the... Yeah, I can't pull it up because it's going to load a bunch of crap and make a bunch of noise, and you're going to have to put up with it if I load that up. So I'm going to spare everybody that. But I'll look. I can't even do it during the commercial break. As soon as I load it, I should have hit this before I went back on the air. I should have loaded up the web pages, and I wouldn't have that issue. So if you hear a bunch of crap in the background, it's me loading up the web pages so I can see what's going on. Sorry if there's an advertiser that got overspun by the. This is why we need the help of a show producer. So that's what we'll talk about. We think we found a show producer. It's Sharky. Sharky's out in the western states, lives in the mountains. I'll let Tim introduce it. We talked to him yesterday, but he couldn't hear us very well. It was our fault. So we'll see if we can get Sharky on the phone and talk to him about some of these great guests he's planning on having on. He knows. He was talking to either Cheech or Chong's daughter, one of the two.
I think he said Chong.
Chong's daughter?
Yeah.
Is she hot?
I don't know. I've never seen her.
I'll bet you Chong's daughter's hot. It's probably like Aerosmith's daughter.
Right.
Steven Tyler's got a hot chick, daughter.
Yeah, she's all right.
Well, I'm saying as, as celebrity guests go. Anyway, so he knows, it's like knowing, what is that, Moon Fry? I don't know. Moon Zappa. Isn't it Moon Fry Zappa?
Who?
Moon Fry. You don't know Moon Fry?
No, I don't know that.
Frank Zappa?
Frank Zappa, I've heard of.
Okay, he's got a daughter named Moon.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think her name is Moon Fry Zappa. I think. I don't know if it's Moon Fry or if it's just Moon Zappa. Anyways, Moon, Moon is to Zappa like this girl is to, Cheech or Chong or whoever it is. I don't know. He knows these people.
Yeah.
So we might be able to get some of these people on. Maybe I might even be confusing. I might be just talking out my ass because it's the daughter of somebody famous. Okay. He's like, I could get that person on. You can't talk over there and expect people are going to. You got to lean in. There you go. So so here's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about the show producer. He's got a lot of famous people. I just can't believe some of the people he knows. All sympathizers to the medical marijuana field. And there's he's turning me on to people I didn't know. And that gives me a boner because I'm all about learning new stuff. All about learning new stuff. So here's Ken Sharkey now. Hey, Ken.
Hey.
Hey, we're getting ready to go to break already. So hang on to the break with us, and we'll come back and talk to Ken Sharkey. I'm going to call you Ken Sharkey. Is that okay, Ken?
You got it.
All right. Sharkey's his nickname. Ken's his real name. We'll call him Ken Sharkey for, kicks and giggles. We'll be right back. More to come on the Medical Marijuana Radio Show for a Wednesday, folks, in December. Don't go away.
Got something to say?
Call now toll free. 855-MMM Radio.
The Medical Marijuana Radio Network.
If you are a carded Michigan medical marijuana patient with a need for safe access but have reservations about privacy and discretion, there is an answer. It's the Ant Farm. The Ant Farm is Metro Detroit's trusted professional mobile transfer service. Write this toll-free number down. 888-369-3320. Lab-tested, mold and pesticide-free. It's the Ant Farm's convenience you'll try, but quality standards, privacy, and friendly professionals that will bring you back. The Ant Farm comes to you. Call for discreet details right away. 888-369-3320. The patient's place for medical marijuana and safe access is Third Coast. Beautiful downtown Ypsilanti is where you can get safe, affordable access to education and materials concerning your specific needs, and quality products designed to meet your exacting needs. It's the Third Coast, 19 North Hamilton in Ypsilanti. Convenient hours, friendly, professional, compassionate. Call Third Coast today, 734-487-5402. That's the Third Coast Compassion Center in downtown Ypsilanti, 734-487-5402.
The Green Bee Collective.
Hey, medical marijuana patients, it's time to discover what all the buzz is about in Ann Arbor.
The Green Bee Collective.
The Green Bee Collective is busy making sure your patient needs are met with high-quality, locally grown meds.
The Green Bee Collective.
Get to know the information, the research, the benefit available to your condition.
The Green Bee Collective.
Weekly specials in just minutes from downtown Ann Arbor and I-94.
The Green Bee Collective.
The details are sweet at mmmgreenbee.com. Call 734-929-2553 now.
Well, this formula is specifically to grow cannabis.
That's Ray Kogo for Kogo's Original Cannabis Formula Nutrients.
Now, everybody knows that large buds and tight buds come from genetics, and then the amount of light you use. The other part is having the correct nutrients that the plant's going to use. Mine specifically to grow cannabis, so it's going to get everything that it needs.
Ray knows what you may not. Those nutrient companies you can get in most grow shops are not cannabis specific. That means they take the stuff out of the bloom that your plant needs in bloom. You can get Kogo's Original Cannabis Formula Nutrients too. It's just 2 1-gallon jugs that make over 600 gallons of nutrients, all for less than $100. See the difference for yourself.
More trichomes, bigger buds, faster growth, and for less money.
Go to CANNABISformula.com or call Ray Direct at 517-375-8998. That's 517-375-8998. Kogo's Original Cannabis Formula Nutrients.
It's the Medical Marijuana Radio Show.
Merry Christmas, everybody. Time to decorate the tree. Hang up the mistletoe. Give gifts.
Hell yeah, welcome back to the Medical Marijuana Radio Show, and Merry Christmas to you. I hope you got some green under your tree. I hope your Santa's not bringing you coal. You know where's all the coal's going this year? It's going to Eric Holder, Barack Obama, and Billy Bong, our Attorney General in the state of Michigan. I just got to think about that. I think Billy Bong's going to be a little pissed off when he finds out we released a song on iTunes called the Billy Bong Song. If you're interested in catching a great little tune, we released it on iTunes, the Billy Bong Song. Go check it out. It's by DJ Medspliff. I'm not going to tell you who DJ Medspliff is. I'm going to keep that secret. But be aware that the Billy Bong Song is out there. You can download it on iTunes and other places. Rhapsody, Google Music, eMusic, all those different places. Amazon MP3. Who did I leave out? I don't remember. There's 6 of them. So look for the Billy Bong Song, download it and play it. It's got Steph Scherer. It's got a bunch of Michigan activists and stuff in it. Look, if I was in California or other places, I'd have gotten those activists too. I suppose if I'd spent more time, I could have dug some of their audio up from some of these sources. So back to the phones. Look, Sharky, are you there? Can you talk to us? Hello? Uh-oh. Did we lose Sharky? And we might have. Yeah, we lost Sharky. Oh, God. Yeah, so let's call Sharky back. It shouldn't be that hard. So Sharky's going to be producing for the show. He couldn't hang on for the break. I don't know. He gets crappy reception out there in the mountains. I'm going to put the camera on us, Justin. This is me and Justin. Say hi, Justin. Look at the camera. There you go. So we're calling Ken Sharky back. Ken's out in the mountains of Colorado. I think it's is it California? No, I don't think it's a Colorado mountain. Or it is the Colorado mountains. I don't know. He used to live in California, so it must be the Colorado mountains.
You have reached mailbox number 775.
We don't tell the mailbox number. We lost Ken Sharky. What happened, Ken? I hope he's not having a fit. Ken's an MS patient, so maybe something bad happened. I hope not. I'll try him back real quick. If not, we got to move on. Lots of stuff. The show's just packed full of stuff. We can't sit on Ken. Every day stuff is happening, and we're trying to bring it to you. I hope I can remember all the stuff to bring to you during the show today, because there's a lot. I don't want to get stuck on any particular thing. We'll let him try back. We don't have time for this. Maybe his batteries died. Maybe he's not getting reception. I don't know. We'll find out here in a minute. He'll call us back for sure. If you want to call the program today and talk to Justin and I or any of the guests that we've got on, it's easy to get involved. 810-423-2350. I'll give you a little quick introduction. You can find us on iTunes. If you're finding us, you're not going to find us on the YouTube. They banned us from the YouTube for a minute because of some copyright issue. I'm trying to iron out some legal crap. It's just a little bump. But in the meanwhile, we can't upload full-length videos, so we can only do 15 minutes at a time. You'll have to find us on iTunes. You'll have to find us at radioweedshow.com. You can also find us frequently on Ustream. Ustream is the vehicle that carries our video content. So, I got the camera up. I've got the camera up, and I'm leaning over here as if to. Hang on, let me put this camera. Get you out of the picture there for a second, Justin, because you're not seeing anything yet. We'll get you in when Sharky's going. All right. I'll talk to you in a second with. We want to know about you because when we did the first show, because this is the second show for the day. We had a blue screen of death problem here. So we did the first show. We gave a good introduction to you. I hate having to redo stuff. It all comes out the best the first time. It's like my number one rule when I get guests on. We don't talk about what's in the show. We'll say what's going to, the content of it. This is the subject or whatever. But we don't talk specifically about, we don't have that conversation until we hit the air. We've already had that conversation with you, so I'm in a weird place with introducing you because it always comes out best the first time. I'll just do it again. Justin's our carded patient, a carded patient of mine. I'm a patient and a caregiver, so I caregive for Justin. Justin came by today to help me with some stuff over here. But since we were, late in getting the show on, I figured a good opportunity for him to come on and, talk. And the reason being is that I was saying during the first show, I'll recreate the first show for you here a little bit, part of the first show. It was about the listeners. The listeners of this show are mostly men, 90% men, at least as it relates to YouTube. It seems that seems to be the case no matter where we're at. It seems to be a majority of the audience is male, and it would follow that this is the way it is for some reason in the medical marijuana community, too. It seems like the women make up about 10%. I don't know why it's like that, but it just seems like it is. Maybe women are a little more, a little less willing to be different, to try something unique, something that hasn't. Women like things that are tried and true. They like things that are tested and known. They don't like to play with variables and things that are unknown. They like security. Men don't rely on security so much. We don't always, survive in security environments. We have to make do with, dancing on our feet. If we're breadwinners, and that's traditionally how it's been, you got to dance on your feet, do something important. Or you got to, if the boss is threatening you to fire you about something, you're going to make sure that you respond. Or have another job to go to. One of the two. You need some FU money. Screw you, I'm going to go off and do my own thing. Or you're going to respond. Anyway. So on the show today, some of the important stuff happening. Joe Grumbine is a guy that is out in the western states as well. He's been in court all day. They've been taking down people here this week in our very state, in Michigan. Places went down in Traverse City, a bunch of them. A Blue Water Compassion Club up in that area. And then also in the northern wilds of Michigan, up in the Traverse City vein of things. That's the only populace up in Michigan is TC. I used to live up there, I know. It's really howly up there. It gets very lonely. I remember when because I used to be a recreational user of marijuana back when I was younger. And I remember going up there and going, oh, man, I can't find any weed up here. It's just you can't find it. So, and I was a young character, too. I was like 20. I remember it was just under 21 because I remember, I was in Gaylord and I wasn't allowed to have alcohol. And I wasn't a booze guy. I never have been. I don't drink now. But the people at the radio station had given all the people, the salespeople at the radio station I worked for in Gaylord up there, had given us at the time as Christmas presents, I think they were actually New Year's presents, all bottles of wine. And here I am under 21, and they just probably didn't realize that they were giving somebody under 21 a bottle of wine. And so here I am. Now, mind you, I don't know why I'm getting into this story. I'm walking home from the radio station because it was about a mile from where I lived. And mind you, there is mountains of snow. The snow on the edge of the road where they plowed is over my head. The wall of snow, the carved wall of snow is over my head on the side of the road. So I'm walking back in this mess. It's still snowing, by the way. With a bottle of wine tucked in my shirt. It's awfully cold. And I'm thinking, you know what? I'm going to drink this bottle of wine. It's cold. So I did. On the way home, I sat and consumed the bottle of wine. So I got to the 7-Eleven. I'm thinking, I'm half drunk, but pretty drunk. I don't drink. So I got most of a bottle of wine in me. And I stuffed the bottle of wine in the snow behind the newspaper machine. And the police see me pulling it out. It's just like one cop in Gaylord at the time. He sees me pulling it out as I exit the 7-Eleven because it's open 24 hours. I'm sure he circled that place at night because it's the only place he can find anybody alive. And here I am walking with this young guy walking with a open bottle of wine. Oh, that's asking for trouble. So he turns on his lights. Hey, you, come here. Hey, what are you doing with that bottle of wine? Well, I had to walk home. I'm cold. Well, let me see that. You're not supposed to have open booze out here. Well, you can't be doing that. How old are you anyways? Well, give me that. You can't have this. You're underage. You're lucky I don't write. Go home. So I did. But here, then I'm standing up over my apartment window. I lived right around the corner from where this happened. I could see the 7-Eleven from my apartment window. And I remember going, Hooch, who's got the marijuana? This would all be better if I just had a joint. It was rough to get up there. So in the northern wilds, it's a little different up there than it is down here, downstate. But the politics are not different. The Attorney General says it's still Michigan no matter where you're at in the state, and we're still finding this illegal in every way. And I just want to draw people's attention to this fact. And if we ever get Sharky back on the phone, I don't know what happened to Sharky. If we ever get him back on the phone, he'll tell you that this is going on there too. It's going on in Colorado. It's going on in Arizona. It's going on in Washington State. Every place there's a medical marijuana law, they're going to try, if they can, and jam you up in court.
Yeah, always.
So, they did this to you. Did they try and jam you up in court? It's not pot related. Your court case, right?
No, not at all.
Yours is more of a dispute with a significant other.
Yeah.
And you ended up having to deal with the probation situation.
Yeah, and because I smoked, they got to test me and alcohol test me for some reason, even though I don't drink. I think drinking's a horrible thing.
Well, drinking is a horrible thing. I think, anything that you do that's abusive is awful. But alcohol in general as a substance is tremendously awful. And, I'm not here to argue those arguments. I'll point them out, though. I'll point out a couple of things. At the beginning of this show, you heard Channel 7, WXYZ's news piece, back-to-back news pieces. The first news piece on the open of the show was about marijuana use amongst teens going up for since 1981. What did it say? It went up by like 6% or something. It's insignificant. The number's insignificant. Statistically, it's insignificant. And even the people that created the statistics said statistically this is not a significant increase. But their point is still valid. It's gone up. Well, of course it's gone up. The population's gone up. Statistics are easy to skew, and I'm just warning you right now that the Attorney General, especially given the visibility of this news story in the Detroit area as it relates, because they would care, that story that we heard was from Channel 7 in Detroit. It's a big news station, and so they're I'm sure the Attorney General is going to try and use this argument. Oh, look, hey, I'm right. You should be against marijuana in every form anyways, too. All these kids. I told you it's a gateway drug to kids. It's easy access to, it's all a bunch of hogwash. Let me tell you, if you're a kid right now, if we could shrink you down and lessen your years and put some smaller clothes on you and send you out the door with a backpack and jump, like Mr. Mom, and jump on the school bus. Or was it Big? The movie Big with Tom Hanks. Remember that? You didn't see Big, did you?
No, I never seen that.
Big, in the movie Big, he wishes he could be little again. God, I wish I could just relive my whole, childhood. And somehow he gets his wish and he shrinks in his clothes and he becomes a kid again. And he's got a wife and kids. And so he's got to survive as a kid now and explain to, figure out what's going. So he got his wish. So I don't know why I told you this. What was it relating to?
Talking about kids and doing drugs.
You got to lean into the microphone.
Talking about kids and doing drugs.
Yeah. So, if we could send you out the door as a kid again, like they did in the movie Big with Tom Hanks, you'd understand that you could go on the bus and ask, as soon as you got on the bus, there would be somebody available on every single school bus. I'm talking Catholic school buses. Doesn't matter which school bus. Ask one of those kids on that bus is going to know how to get pot. And I would say this goes all the way down to as young as grade school. So one of those kids knows where he can get pot. If kids want pot, and sometimes they do, they're going to find it. And they're not getting it at a dispensary. They're not getting it at a compassion club. They're not getting easy access to a gateway drug, as Mr. Billy Bong, Bill Schuette, our Attorney General, did you notice his initials are BS, would say.
Yeah.
So we get out of Justin is yeah. Yeah. I agree with you, Steve. I don't want a yes man. I want somebody with give me a thought. Give me an idea, Justin. You got nothing, do you?
No, not really.
See, at least he admits it. So this is the idea that the Attorney General in this state or in any state would rally against an idea like this, and they've done this in Arizona. We have a similar situation in Arizona, except they don't have a figurehead like Bill Schuette rallying against this stuff. You know what I just noticed? You see what time it is? You got to deal with. Can you deal with that? Yeah. Yeah, thank you. So, while Justin is off dealing with the situation, time-related situation, let me draw you back to the idea that in this state, the Attorney General has been effective in doing a couple of things. He's closed down a bunch of compassion clubs up in northern Michigan, up there in Traverse City. Like I was saying earlier, it's different up there in northern Michigan. They've been sitting back. The local guys, the local prosecutors, the local compassion clubs have been in a true situation because they've been on safe terms. They understand that this is not dangerous. They've looked at this in their local districts and examined this for what it is and not for what people are saying it is. And they've decided locally that this is something that they not only can deal with, but they like the answer. It answers objections in a fair way. It answers the problems of the medical community by allowing safe access, and it doesn't provide for any kind of access to kids. It's not offensive to women, kids, or churches. That's all a bunch of malarkey. It's not any more offensive for kids that you have to go to a dispensary to get your medication for your illness. That's not any more offensive than it would be offensive to say that you've got diabetes and there's a CVS across the street from the school and you got to go get your diabetes med. It's no different. This is legitimate treatment for a medical condition, and we voted this in this state and many states across the country. So for you to say that somehow it's offensive or somehow that it's a gateway drug and it's easy access, it's all a bunch of malarkey, Mr. Schuette, Mr. Holder. It's crap. If you're one of those policeman associations guys where they want to, these people are spewing garbage and filth, and I'm not a conspiracist. I'm saying go and listen to them and compare what they have to say with the facts of the matter. Look at the reality of the situation. So Bill Schuette went around spreading his garbage and filth about what they were denying press and ordinary people access to these seminars, 4 of them throughout the state in the month of November. And I wholeheartedly, fully believe that the evidence points to the fact that the state police were in all of these locations telling people that they're going to be raiding dispensaries in these locations and for these reasons. And that if you want to close your club or if you want to close some dispensary model or whatever it is, doesn't matter. They want to close it under public nuisance. Here's how you go about doing it. And we'll join the case. We'll help you out. This is the Attorney General going against the people of Michigan, an overwhelming majority, because he wants to say that the law was somehow, sold and packaged for end-of-life care, for those treating pain in the final pangs of death. It's just not so. It was never packaged that way. It was never sold that way. He wants you to believe that by saying it. By virtue of saying it, he wants you to believe it as fact. It's simply not true. And the voters weren't confused. You put some ballot language up, it's plain black and white. They're not any more confused about what they voted for there than they voted for you, Mr. Schuette. You see, Eric Holder isn't voted into office. Eric Holder is assigned as a part of the cabinet, as the administration of the Obama administration. He's nominated as a cabinet member. He's the head of the Department of Justice. Eric Holder. In this state, our Attorney General in the state is elected. He's an elected official. And we elected Mr. Schuette. And we're not running around saying, oh, you confused him into thinking this and that. We did confuse him. We're not making that claim, though. And we're not saying you didn't get legitimately elected. You did. And we're not going to argue with those people that elected you. But the same people in the same election voted this in. What do you got to say about them apples? The same people. You can't talk to me. You have to wait till break, Justin. Come and have a seat. Justin's taking care of some issues. We don't want to discuss them on the air. So have a seat, Justin. We'll deal with that in a moment. We've got a break coming up here in a minute. Just wanted to draw people back to the idea that in this state, in order to qualify, because in this state, in Michigan, you get the protection of the Medical Marijuana Act. All you don't get a permission to grow. You don't get a license to grow or to possess or to use. You simply get a defense in court if you're ever charged. That's all you get. So if you take your medical card and it's presented to a police officer. It's designed to keep you from being arrested or prosecuted. It says right so in the act in very clear language, shall not be arrested or prosecuted under any circumstances as it relates to marijuana. It also assumes that you're medically using. If you've got a card, we will assume automatically that you're medically using. The Attorney General doesn't want to do this. So in our state, in order to get the protection afforded you against prosecution in Section 8 of our Act, you have to follow the rules of Section 4, which says closed lock facility, which says a limited amount of plants, limited amount of dry usable weight. It sets out the rules. And if you didn't follow the rules in Section 4, you don't get the protection in Section 8. That's what our courts in the state have determined according to the way the Attorney General has been running these test cases through. I'm going to call it this, and we'll see if it sticks. If it sticks, then we'll take it to the appellate court. And if that sticks, that's the way it's going to be. We don't care what the people said. We're going to, define this in the courts. And that's what he's been successful at doing so far, to the extent that now he's gone off and said, okay, and part of these cases are going through, they're trying people on a daily basis, denying people a defense in court. Doesn't matter if they were just caught with a few grams. They're charging you as a marijuana user. You don't get to be called a medical marijuana guy. You get to be charged as a criminal. And they deny you to the defense because they hold a hearing. And at that hearing, they say, okay, let's see about whether you get the protection of Section 8 or not. Did you have a bona fide doctor-patient relationship? Well, what's that? Let me tell you what a bona fide doctor-patient relationship is. It means that it's a guy that you didn't just pay money to sign a certificate to get you a card, which is what many people, I'm afraid, are doing. In this state, the other states have different carding programs. In this state, that's what you have to do. And so if you didn't sign up for that, if you don't have a bona fide doctor-patient relationship, you don't get the protection. So I want to tell you at the next segment, coming up here after the break, because it's coming up now, how the Attorney General has scared a bona fide doctor-patient relationship out of existence in my case. More to come up on the Medical Marijuana Radio Show. Don't go away.
Steve and Denise will be right back on the Medical Marijuana Radio Show. The Medical Marijuana Radio Network.
Medical marijuana certification. And now you can find out everything you need to know online at getpotid.com. Or write down this toll-free number, 855-DOC-CERT. A friendly specialist will direct you to our Farmington Hills office. Medical marijuana certification. GetPotID.com. It's the key to getting your card. Information, resources, and in the end, if you're qualified, a medical card. Call toll-free right now, 855-DOC-CERT. That's 855-DOC-CERT. It's GetPotID.com. If you are a carded Michigan medical marijuana patient with a need for safe access but have reservations about privacy and discretion, there is an answer. It's the Ant Farm. The Ant Farm is Metro Detroit's trusted professional mobile transfer service. Write this toll-free number down, 888-369-3320. Lab-tested, mold and pesticide-free. It's the Ant Farm's convenience you'll try, but quality standards, privacy, and friendly professionals that will bring you back. The Ant Farm comes to you. Call for discreet details right away. 888-369-3320. Hey, Steve Greene here for the Medical Marijuana Certifications at AMMP. They're the American Medical Marijuana Professionals. You'll find them just north of Utica Road on Gratiot in Roseville. Their address is 28349. Now, call-ins are welcome, but you're better off calling for an appointment. They have a toll-free number, 877-RX-420-99. That's 877-RX-420-99 for American Medical Marijuana Professionals. That's AMMP on Gratiot in Roseville. The patient's place for medical marijuana and safe access is Third Coast. Beautiful downtown Ypsilanti is where you can get safe, affordable access to education and materials concerning your specific needs, and quality products designed to meet your exacting needs. It's the Third Coast, 19 North Hamilton in Ypsilanti. Convenient hours, friendly, professional, compassionate. Call Third Coast today, 734-487-5402. That's the Third Coast Compassion Center in downtown Ypsilanti, 734-487-5402.
The Greene Collective.
Hey, medical marijuana patients, it's time to discover what all the buzz is about in Ann Arbor.
The Greene Collective.
The Green Bee Collective is busy making sure your patient needs are met with high-quality, locally grown meds.
The Greene Bee Collective.
Get to know the information, the research, the benefit available to your condition.
The Greene Bee Collective.
Weekly specials in just minutes from downtown Ann Arbor and I-94.
The Greene Bee Collective.
The details are sweet at MMMGreenBee.com. Call 734-929-2553 now.
Welcome. Marijuana Radio Show.
Oh, jeez. I overtalked the Medical Marijuana Radio Show lately. Screwing up my own show, live on the radio. It's RadioWeedShow.com. I'm Steve Greene, patient and caregiver, media man extraordinaire. Howard Sterning it up for you. We love you, Howard. I don't compare myself to Howard Stern. I really don't. I'm really not even fascinated with Howard Stern, although I could say that the man is a genius. From this standpoint, let me just give you a little history, because and I don't want to lose fact. I'm putting you on hold on the conversation before the break. I told Sharky this the other day. I also told, who did I tell? I told Ben Horner from Michigan Organic Solutions. I told Rick Thompson from Big Daddies and 4M Magazine. I told them all, look, they're like, how do we need a bigger crowd? How do we get noticed? How do you figure this out? I'm gonna put the camera back on. I'll lean this. I'll do this way. So here we go. How do you get seen? How do you get known? Really, what do you do? And the answer is, this is the way Howard did it. Look, Howard, before he was even big in the ratings, he would challenge the local morning show guys, and the way he would come up on top is he would create a spectacle. Go back and look at the news footage. It's awesome. He'd hold these big, things outdoors during the morning show. Winter, summer, it didn't matter. He'd costume up and put a big stage play on. And he'd hold a funeral for his morning show guys, the people he competed against. I'm going to bury you. He'd make these outrageous claims and do these theatrics. And that's what got Howard where he's at. That's how he got to be known. It wasn't his, the antics. And that's what you hung out for, the chicks and throwing the baloney at the chicks' asses. That's what they hung out for. They got there because, that's what he did. He did stuff like that. It was all spectacle. He created spectacle and people came for it. It didn't matter that, it was controversial, it was edgy. Maybe you didn't even agree with what he had to say. It didn't matter. It didn't even matter if he was doing it well or not. It mattered that you knew who he was, and he knew it by spectacle. And so that's what I'm suggesting that this crowd do. Look, they're doing it right now with Occupy Wall Street. Don't think they're not. They're doing it where they're creating a spectacle. And it's the only safe way that they can do it. Their acts are very close to being considered seditious by our U.S. government. These are things, you are threatening the ports of our nation. You've got the Homeland Security Department paying attention to the Occupy Wall Street people, trying to call them terrorists. This is the angle. Look, this is what we did when we did the whole, what was the thing that we did when we passed the Homeland Security Act? When we passed Homeland Security, what we did was you traded a lot of privacy. We traded a lot of, your freedom for security. And Tim Beck's quoting a couple of other famous guys who've also said the same thing. If you trade freedom for security, you've got neither. You don't have security or freedom if you'd have to trade one for the other. And so that's what we did. And I'm just saying, the U.S. government, by giving them this power, watch what happens with the Occupy Wall Street. I'm going to make the prediction now. Watch what happens with it. They're going to end up crushing them. The U.S. government, and I hope it doesn't happen with the Obama administration, because he's going to end up looking like the guy that was running the whole thing, Chen or whatever, that was running the whole thing during the Tiananmen Square massacre, where you got a lot of guys laying down in front of tanks. The reason I'm talking about this is because this is the same government that's aiming their weapons at our populace in this field. This is a war against drugs. Well, if it is, then point your weapons at the guns and your guns at the drugs. If you're warring against drugs, point your guns at the drugs. Don't point them at people. And don't expect that they're not going to point them back. In this country, part of our First Amendment, Second Amendment. Right to bear arms. And the reason we gave ourselves the right to bear arms is so that in case the government ever got too big and started pointing their weapons at you, you could fight back. You could form a militia and say, do something about it. Well, not anymore. They've gotten too big. And the weapons, you instead of being a Minuteman with a musket on your shoulder. Oh, Bobby's getting salty. You're pissing me off, man. I'm ready to fight. And if you're a Minuteman, we can't hear you, Bob. What'd you say? You gotta say it.
I said I'm ready to battle, man.
I can see Bobby. He's shaking his head. He's sweating already. He's dancing around it. He's all fidgety. He's pissed off. Bobby's like, I can't listen to your show, man. You get me all mad. I'm all upset when I listen to your show. It's okay. It's okay to be upset. I'm upset too. I'm not angry though. I'm trying to do something, important. I'm trying to alert people to what's going on. because I've got a unique inside view. And there are a number of people who do. Some of them have a more unique, a bigger perspective into this than I. So, as it relates, let me pull you back for a second. Before we went to break and before you came in the door, Bob, the person that you heard talking, you didn't see him. Should I show you? I can't show you. Is Bob. He was on the phone earlier, and so now he popped over. So he's here to talk turkey with. I think he's here for money, aren't you, Bob? Nod your head, yes. There you go. He's here for money. I don't have much, so we'll do the best we can. So here we go. Before the break, we were talking about how the Attorney General here in the state of Michigan, Billy Bong, BS guy. BS stands for Bill Schuette. Apparently the gateway drug to marijuana is the gateway drug to the Attorney General's office. Billy Bong used to smoke the pot in college, and he made it all the way there. What's wrong with that? Why is it so dangerous? Why is it... Look, you were a kid smoking the pot, and you're the Attorney General. By example, what do you expect us to do, Mr. Billy Bong? If you want to hear the Billy Bong song, go download it on iTunes. Look for Billy Bong, the Billy Bong song. It's an awesome tune. And you'll see the shenanigans of what he's up to. Eric Holder's a different character, but he's not much different. It's just that Billy Bong has, money, financial ties. Anyway, so what he's done is he's scared the doctors in this state. What he did by closing down these compassion clubs, by holding these little seminars, what he's done is he set the stage to do these raids. 13 days after he held his seminar up in northern Michigan, the raids went down. And I'd say that they had those raids planned from the day that they did the seminar. It's not local guys that did this. They assisted. But the guys that were in charge of this, stop playing with stuff, Bob. Come on. The local, he's like, come on, man. I feel like I'm at my parents' house. Cut it out. At least my parents' house is clean. What he did is he set this up. So the state police were the guys doing these raids in Michigan. Because he couldn't get in these green zones where you got favorable prosecutors like David Layton in Genesee County, and you got some, Traverse City's got some favorable people where we've carved out some politics here with our local guys, where the local guys have said, no, this is not dangerous. In fact, this is a good model. It answers to questions that the community had objectively. It did it in a good way. We don't have a problem with this model. It's okay. It's not that dangerous. It's not dangerous at all, in fact. We like this. This is a safe thing. We've codified it into our city government. The Attorney General has said through these series of seminars, no. You can't do it that way. We're not allowing that. It's illegal. We've determined by court rules and other opinions that this is illegal. And in fact, if you're a cop, you have an obligation to not return that marijuana. If you arrest somebody and release them and they're deemed as being lawfully in possession of it, you can't give it back to them, because if you do, you might be breaking a federal law, and we might have to turn you into the feds. They might have to come and arrest you for, trafficking narcotics. What a ridiculous notion. Oh, it makes my head want to explode when I hear such an argument. And that people fall for that line of BS, especially if you're a cop. Do you believe, Mr. Police Officer, that the feds are going to charge you if you hand my pot back to me, Mr. HIV patient, Mr. Carded Sick Man? Do you think they're going to charge you? I don't think so. I don't think that the Obama administration or Eric Holder or the Justice Department have any money to spend outside of, making more than they spent on the raid. If they can make a whole bunch of money on the raid, they're going for it. They're going to do it. That's why they target a certain number of plants or better. Everything else is just small potatoes. We don't care about that. That's you state guys can handle that. So here's what's happened in this state. He's also the Attorney General. I wholeheartedly believe, I have no smoking gun evidence of this, but I'm going to ask my doctor, and he'll tell me. He'll be truthful with me. Did the Attorney General or somebody from his office make any communication with you with regards to your signing medical marijuana certifications? I want to know the answer to that question. I didn't think to ask it of him this Monday when I received the following letter. I'm going to put the letter on the screen. This is the letter. I'm going to show it on camera here. This is the letter we're talking about. It's on the doctor's letterhead. And at least what I'm about to say amazes me. I'm looking for the JPEG to see if I can find the JPEG. I called it letter. See if I can find it in here. So I can put it on the screen. You can see it better. I don't see it in here. It's okay. I'm not worried. Maybe I'm looking at the wrong player. Yeah, that's why. Here we go. I'll find it now. So what he did was, I'm going to hit a break now. That's what's going to happen. What he did was, is he says the following thing. Here's the letter picture. Oh, crap. It's such a crappy picture, dude. It's too small. You can't see it. Screw it. I'm better off doing this. There you go. What happened here? Oh, stop playing with the stuff. I'm trying to run a show here. Here we go. Oh, there we go. So now we've hit the break time. I'm going to read the content of the letter going into the next segment. And then let me tell you this. The Medical Marijuana Radio Network today, immediately following the show, at 10 o'clock Eastern Time, will be the Hidden Stash Show. Smokey Cush's show from the Tour 420 Radio, WTHCL coming up immediately following this show. Don't go away. More to come.
More of your calls next on the Medical Marijuana Radio Show. The Medical Marijuana Radio Network.
The Greene Collective.
Hey, medical marijuana patients, it's time to discover what all the buzz is about in Ann Arbor.
The Greene Collective.
The Green Bee Collective is busy making sure your patient needs are met with high-quality, locally grown meds.
The Greene Collective.
Get to know the information, the research, the benefit available to your condition.
The Greene Collective.
Weekly specials in just minutes from downtown Ann Arbor and I-94.
The Greene Collective.
The details are sweet at MMMGreenBee.com. Call 734-929-2553 now. If you are a carded Michigan medical marijuana patient with a need for safe access but have reservations about privacy and discretion, there is an answer. It's the Ant Farm. The Ant Farm is Metro Detroit's trusted professional mobile transfer service. Write this toll-free number down. 888-369-3320. Lab-tested, mold and pesticide-free. It's the Ant Farm's convenience you'll try, but quality standards, privacy, and friendly professionals that will bring you back. The Ant Farm comes to you. Call for discreet details right away. 888-369-3320. Medical marijuana certification. And now you can find out everything you need to know online at getpotid.com. Or write down this toll-free number, 855-DOC-CERT. A friendly specialist will direct you to our Farmington Hills office. Medical marijuana certification. GetPotID.com. It's the key to getting your card. Information, resources, and in the end, if you're qualified, a medical card. Call toll-free right now, 855-DOC-CERT. That's 855-DOC-CERT. It's GetPotID.com. Hey, Steve Greene here for the Medical Marijuana Certifications at AMMP. They're the American Medical Marijuana Professionals. You'll find them just north of Utica Road on Gratiot in Roseville. Their address is 28349. Now, call-ins are welcome, but you're better off calling for an appointment. They have a toll-free number, 877-RX-420-99. That's 877-RX-420-99 for American Medical Marijuana Professionals. That's AMMP on Gratiot in Roseville. The patient's place for medical marijuana and safe access is Third Coast. Beautiful downtown Ypsilanti is where you can get safe, affordable access to education and materials concerning your specific needs, and quality products designed to meet your exacting needs. It's the Third Coast, 19 North Hamilton in Ypsilanti. Convenient hours, friendly, professional, compassionate. Call Third Coast today, 734-487-5402. That's the Third Coast Compassion Center in downtown Ypsilanti, 734-487-5402.
It's the Medical Marijuana Radio Show.
Hey, welcome back to the Medical Marijuana Radio Show. Just moments left in the program. I got to turn this off. It didn't. I thought I did. There we go. Should I leave it on for Bob now? All right, so we were talking about what the doctor did. Let me read the contents of this letter to you. Way too loud. Okay, here we go. It says, and this letter is dated the 29th of November, 2011, and this is why this is important. This doctor, the end result, I'm going to just give you the end final result of this letter. It means the doctor is not going to write a medical marijuana prescription for me anymore. This is my HIV doctor. This is the doctor that I go to a couple of times a year to get, checked out. He does all of it. This is outside of my certification with the program in Michigan. In Michigan, we can't go to a dispensary or a local shop and get a card like you can in California. You have to apply to it through the state. And, in California, you can get one and walk out with the card. Here in Michigan, you got to get mailed your driver's license, but at least your driver's license will show up in a couple of weeks. If you want your card, it's not going to have your picture on it, and it's going to be like 6 months before you get it. So you've got to have a bona fide doctor-patient relationship if you intend on having any kind of defense in court. That doctor's got to be willing to come in and testify that A, he understands the palliative effect of marijuana as a recommendation for you, that you have an illness that qualifies, a condition that qualifies, and that marijuana will seem to be helpful for you. He has to be able to articulate that for a jury or a judge, because they're going to hear this case if they try to. They're going to ask this question of that doctor, because they're going to try and say you didn't have a bona fide doctor-patient relationship. They've done it dozens of times in this state already. And so you've got to, in order to have a bona fide doctor-patient relationship, they don't want you going to some pot doc, as the Attorney General would like to call him. Somebody that you give him some money, and he checks you out, he confirms that you have an illness that qualifies, and then signs your card. That's what, they call a pot doc. The reason these doctors exist is because many times, in most cases, your standard primary care practitioner will not sign your medical marijuana certificate, your certification form at all, simply because if they did, their hospital association, whoever's employing them, their association with maybe their insurance company, they'll not carry you anymore. You don't have a job anymore. Look, your insurance has dropped because you wrote a medical marijuana certification. It's in the patient's records. We reviewed it and we dropped you. You're no longer on the hospital staff. Thank you. Good day, sir. Look, I'm still paying off my student loan as a doctor. I got kids going through college. I cannot do without my paycheck. I can't write you a certification. So what do? You got to go to a pot doc who's kind of like, acting in his place. He's got no hospital certificate, he doesn't have to worry about his hospital association or his job firing him. He's a private practitioner. And so he'll sign for you. He's going to take the information. You bring your medical records in. He checks everything out. He does what your normal doctor would have done anyways, but cannot. That's what these pot docs exist for. And so now I've always gone to my regular doctor. I'm a core participant in the program. I have a named illness in the act. These other poor guys, if you got some of these other illnesses that medical marijuana helps, a post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, for example. You don't get, you're not going to get if you go in and claim PTSD, they're going to say, no, you don't qualify. There's supposed to be a commission in the state that's supposed to hear these issues and try to decide what is a good new qualification to add people to the list, other illnesses. They've never created it in the state. The program's been in existence for 3 years. So this is what my doctor says as it relates to Bill Schuette. Because I'm going to have to go to a pot doc now. Here's what he says. And it's not true, but this is and here's why I believe the Attorney General's made contact with doctors. Why else would he be issuing this letter this sternly? This is what my doctor, he's always been a proponent. I was one of the first patients he wrote for. This is what he says. I'm going to run out of time. He says, this is dated November 29th. Friends, the Michigan Attorney General, I'm going to read this fast because I don't have a lot of time. The Michigan Attorney General has declared the Michigan Medical Marijuana Act to be illegal, since it's contrary to federal law, which makes possession of marijuana a crime under any circumstance. He has instructed law enforcement officials in Michigan to arrest anyone possessing marijuana, even if they have a card. The reason I think that the Attorney General has made contact with my doctor is because he's saying he's instructing officers to arrest you. I think he's been given a letter or some other communication that articulates this idea. Even though it's not factual, he's lying to my doctor to keep him from writing me a certification. I'll go on. If I prescribed medical marijuana for you, the letter says, I would be putting you in harm's way if you were pulled over, searched by a law enforcement officer, and found in possession of it. Likewise, I might be construed as being complicit in encouraging criminal behavior for prescribing what the AG has declared to be an illegal substance. Again, how do you know he's declared it to be an illegal substance? Have you been studying this, doctor? I'd say not. I'd say you've been studying your patients. I'd say you'd be studying what's causing the illness in patient X in hospital room Z. That's what my doctor does. He's an infectious disease specialist. You want to hear his credentials? Charles P. Craig, MD. He's not only an MD, he was an FACP, is an FISDA, or FIDSA, and an FCCP. I have no idea what those things are, but I would assume they're degrees. They're at least fields of certification as a doctor. He's an infectious disease specialist. He's treated me for 10 plus years. He goes on to say, for those reasons, I will not prescribe medical marijuana until this controversy is resolved. In the meantime, if you have weight loss, uncontrolled nausea, or pain related to your illness, I can legally prescribe refined cannabis, Marinol. It's not exactly true. Marinol is not refined cannabis. It's a chemical substitute. It's synthesized. He says, which is said to be helpful, though perhaps not as helpful as marijuana. I apologize for the circumstance, but hope that you will understand the unprecedented position the act of the Attorney General has placed us in. And my doctor, Dr. Charles Craig, I don't blame him. They're threatening his existence, his livelihood, his DEA license. That's what gives him the ability to prescribe. So I'm not going to have a certified, bona fide doctor-patient relationship anymore, thanks to our Billy Bong Attorney General. Thank you very much. So thanks for joining the program. Immediately following the show, I told you before, the Hidden Stash Show. It's the Medical Marijuana Radio Network. Thanks, Justin. Thanks, Rob, for being part of the program. I know I didn't give you much a chance to talk, but I had too much to say. We hope you'll come back and be a part of the program later. And we hope you'll join us on iTunes. Look for Radio Weed Show in iTunes to download us. And we'll find you next time tomorrow on RadioWeedShow.com. Thanks for coming, folks.
The Medical Marijuana Radio Show and RadioWeedShow.com are trademarks. Copyright 2011.
The Medical Marijuana Radio Network.